Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 15th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. Got the state of California here to the right, Hawaiian Islands would be bottom left. What we're looking at here is the Gulf of Alaska troughing here, and this is eventually going to kick on inland a bit, and it's going to bring us a couple systems here for the state of California. We'll take a look at those details here as we go through the video this morning. We'll take a look at the extended forecast as well, because we've got some interesting stuff showing up as far as systems potentially as we continue on in through the month of October. Now coming up on the second half here, taking a look at the visible satellite images, put this into motion, and you can see that marine there bobbing around here across Southern California up the central coast into some of the valley areas, and you can see our next week frontal system off the coastline right there. So taking a look at what is coming up here, this is for Thursday through Saturday. We're going to kick some north winds on. We're going to get this offshore pressure gradient going on. Low relative humidities and some gusty winds are going to be coming with that high pressure system, and we're going to be kicking off some fire danger here, so we got to watch out for that. And again, the timing for this is 11 a.m. Thursday through 8 p.m. Saturday. More on that here as we go through the video. And taking a look, the San Francisco National Weather Service is calling attention to this fire weather watch as well. Look at some of these isolated gusts up to 50 miles per hour, and the relative humidity is dropping way off as we go towards this weekend. And if we look at the wind gust forecast for Thursday, you can see across some of the Sierra Nevada here, some of the higher terrain, and then down some of the valley areas. You can see Vacaville getting up over 40 miles per hour here. So we're looking at moderate impact here. And again, the direction is going to be from the north. This is going to start kicking on here as we go through Thursday. And this is for Friday, something similar there as well. Now, this is Eureka National Weather Service. Nice graphic they put out this morning. Again, the low relative humidities and the gusty winds are incoming here. And you can see they also talk about the northerly winds kicking up here as we go Thursday morning through Saturday evening. Check it out, Los Angeles, California. You can see there's a high wind warning here just off to the east, higher terrain, right to Tehachapi. And there's a high surf advisory for some of the coastal areas. Watch out for those waves out there as well. Now, check this out. San Diego, California, now calling attention to that precipitation chances. We went over this in the models a little bit yesterday, and you can see that this does include some of the Los Angeles metro, some of the higher terrain, all the way down to San Diego. More on that here in a moment as well. And I just wanted to pass this along here. National Weather Service, Hanford, California. You know what to do when the wind starts blowing. Watch out if you're driving a high profile vehicle. Now look at Phoenix, Arizona, and some of the deserts are really going to be cooling down. I mean, we went from record temperatures, and you get your jackets and your winter gear out as you go through Friday and Saturday. Look at these temperatures just really falling off the cliff. You are going to feel this here. Phoenix, you're probably so acclimated to that warm weather that this is going to be quite the shock to the system. Now, taking a look at what is coming here, this is 6-hour precipitation type, and you can see as we go through tonight, that frontal system starts to impact Northern California, bringing some precipitation, trying to get a little bit down to the Bay Area, down into the Sacramento Valley, foothills of the Sierra Nevada, and some of the Cascades, Klamath Range will do a little bit better. A little bit of snow for the higher terrain. Initially, snow levels are going to be above 10,000 feet as we go on into Wednesday night into Thursday morning, but then this system should be a bit cooler as we go through Thursday night into Friday, and the snow levels could drop down even as low as 7,000 feet at times. So we could get a bit of snow on some of the higher passes, could make for some slick conditions as an inside slider slides down here, and I'll show you that in the upper levels of the atmosphere in a moment. And again, avalanche.org here, they do have a nice forecast discussion. They do talk about some of those snow levels there dropping down towards 7,000 feet as we get on in towards Thursday and Friday. Now look at total precipitation in inches. This is yesterday afternoon's European ensemble mean. So we got 50 perturbed members here, and we take the average of that and we run it out. So here's the first system here. You can see it bringing some precipitation amounts with it, and then that inside slider slides down. You can see ringing out some precipitation across the higher terrain and some of Southern California here as we go on in through Friday. And then as we scroll a little bit further into the forecast, you can see we have the potential for additional systems. But again, we're looking at over 180 hours out in the forecast, so you don't want to get too caught up in it. But the GFS is also showing a similar pattern here, and check it out as we scroll through the second half of October. We've got some signs of life here across California. Look at some of these overall precipitation amounts starting to get a little bit high. Again, the second half of that is kind of a fantasy forecast where we're going to just kind of monitor and watch it day by day. But if you look at the GFS, we're looking at the Pacific Ocean. You got the Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left. There's California. Put this into motion, our initial frontal system, then watch this inside slider just drop down across the southwest USA. That's what's going to bring the dramatic change in temperatures here and some snow and some precipitation for the higher terrain. And then we scroll off into the extended forecast, and you can see this next trough develops, drops down the west coast of North America. That would bring a very interesting system into the coast of California here, and it would encompass much of the state. So we'll be watching that one. Fantasy forecast right now. We'll be working out these details here as we go over the next few days, but the European and the GFS have been hinting at this system as we go on in through next week. Take a look at total snow in inches on the National Blend of Models. Put this into motion, and you will see some of this precipitation in the form of snow starting across the Sierra Nevada. You see just a little bit of skiff of snow here as we go through Wednesday night, but then the next system a little bit cooler as we go on in through Friday, and you can see a couple inches and even some down across the transverse range as well. So pretty chilly system rolling in here. You can see even some areas outside of Las Vegas, the higher terrain picking up a little bit of snow with that system as well. Even some locally higher amounts across the higher peaks. Now if we scroll off in towards the fantasy portion of the forecast as we go at 180 hours plus, look at some of the snowfall amounts showing up with that next system here. A little bit taste of winter arriving early in the fantasy forecast. But again, we'll be watching that on a daily basis here. Don't take that as gospel just yet. Now taking a look at the European mean sea level pressure. This is last night's run, and this is what's going to start to drive those offshore winds. Look at that pressure gradient here. The higher pressure here, of course, the wind wants to flow out across the valley areas and the coastal areas and bring that strong wind down out of the north here and the northeast across the higher terrain. So look at that high pressure build in. Again, a fairly decent gradient here setting up as we go through the weekend. Saturday morning centered right over Nevada, kicking those offshore winds as well. So that's why the offshore winds are going to pick up after that frontal system, especially the inside slider that comes down on Thursday night and Friday. Now, relative humidity, check it out. You can kind of see where we are as we go through the day today. You know, some upper 30s, 40% there. And we scroll through the morning hours. Of course, the relative humidity rises, but watch what happens as we start to head off in towards Friday, and you can see the low relative humidity start to kick on here across much of the state. Desert areas dropping off as well. And then we go through Saturday afternoon. Check it out. Much of California, pretty low relative humidity. So hopefully we're not going to start to kick off any fire, as you got to watch out for that. It is still fire season here across the state of California, much of the Southwest, and there's Sunday as well. So kind of a pattern change there with the offshore winds coming. And if we look here, the European 100-meter wind speeds, we're looking at knots. But now check it out. You can kind of see the typical north wind here and some southwest winds in advance of this next frontal system. But then watch what happens. You see the north winds start to develop here as we go through Thursday afternoon. Some westerly winds here ripping across some of the higher terrain near Tehachapi. And then you see the northerly winds kind of take over, move down across Nevada and push out across some of the desert areas, and even some offshore winds trying to push out towards Southern California as we go through Friday afternoon. Now, I want to show the temperatures here as well, because we've got the daily 2-meter max temperatures. Watch as we go through tomorrow. You're going to feel that cool down with the initial frontal system. And look at Thursday. Very comfortable out there. Don't forget your jackets across the San Joaquin and the Sacramento Valley. We go on in through Friday, Saturday, a little bit of a bounce back there. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But temperatures this time of year starting to becoming much more comfortable here. We're not dealing with those upper 90s anymore. So glad to see it. Take a look at daily 2-meter minimum temperatures. Everyone in the backcountry, check it out. By the time we get towards Thursday morning, things are cooling down across the Sierra Nevada, even the transverse range as well. And then we go to Friday morning. Look at this. There's a lot of teens out there, and it's cooling things down across the higher terrain portions of Nevada, of course, where the elevation is much higher as well. Then we go Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We start to modify things a bit, but watch out, especially Friday and Saturday morning across the higher terrain. 6 to 10 day, here you go, below average signal for some of the Pacific Northwest. Near normal here for a lot of California, but check it out. They're picking up on those systems coming through the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook through October 24th. Potential for some systems rolling into California here. Cross your fingers for that. We'll break that all down again tomorrow, and we'll try to see if we can get some better model agreement on that pattern change potentially as well. So anyway, hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again tomorrow. Looking forward to what is to come, and I will talk to you guys then.